Hail and well met. Welcome to Chapter 10 of Book 2 of the Westgate Irregulars. I am Erik Scott DeBee, the DM of this campaign. And these are some of the dungeon scrawlers. You may notice that we're down a couple of members who are both on well-deserved birthday vacations. Randy and Aaron are both not here. Partly filling in for them is Alexander Pitchford, who is playing Shae Darksong, who has emerged from the shadows to step in and help out the Irregulars on their latest quest. Tell us about Shae, Allie.
Wow.
A little bit, like 2 or 3 sentences.
Shae is a shadow dancer and follower of Illustree with,
a complicated history.
A complicated history and a love of a particular shady possible crime boss.
So. That sounds about right. And usually we'd go to Aaron, but Aaron's not here, so take it away, Rhiannon.
Okay. I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasies, Rhiannon Held, and space opera is RZ Held, and I'm talking today about our sponsor. I won't do it as well as Aaron, but I will try. We are sponsored by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Frida and Hevelar from the Brimstone Angels novels, which are Aaron's novels. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and Web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and all Android devices. For more information, check out idlechampions.com. Check out the chat for an Electrum chess code. And I have been told the game is also in the final days of the running in-game event where players can earn Shaka from rivals of Waterdeep. Back to myself, I play Artemisia, half-elf sorcerer who really likes lightning.
Hi, I'm Ying Wang. I'm a writer and a filmmaker, and I play Stongback, half-orc bard.
I am Stephen Merlino. I am a writer and a teacher, and I play Scourge, who is an actor, trickster, magician.
Oh, nice. And that is our group of 4. And today we are still advancing the overall story, but taking a slight detour to a place that the Irregulars have visited in the past, but you have never seen on the stage itself. I see that we have a lot of people here from Idle Champions. Welcome. Please grab your code.
Wow, it's a lot of
people. Stay for some of the stream if you would like. We very much appreciate you being here. Scourge, stop moving yourself. We haven't even started yet.
This.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that many people in the chat before.
Where the Irregulars are going to is a place called the Sunset Mantle, which is an onsen is what the Shao call it. It's a hot springs resort basically in the mountains. And because they are chasing the lead of looking for Fayne, everyone's favorite shape-shifting trickster. Now, this is partly because in the previous story, they determined that Fayne has an item that the Nightmasks really want, or at least she might know what happened to it, and so they are looking for her. But that's jumping ahead a little bit. First of all, why is Shae involved? Well, Shae has a long history with Fayne. Specifically, well, if Fayne is said to have any old friends, Shae is probably the closest you come to one of Fayne's old friends. And Shae might know where to find Fayne. Shae is very good at finding people. And so we start in the back room of the common room of the Purple Silks, with you all having called upon Shae.
The Silks at Dawn or the Purple Lady?
The Purple Lady, sorry. I said the wrong thing. Purple Lady.
Okay.
I haven't even had any of my mead that I got from myself. This is from Moonlight Meadery. It's called Fling. I thought that was very appropriate for this particular episode.
So I did something similar. I got a currant, black currant wine, which, as you can see, is empty because I didn't drink the whole thing tonight.
I was gonna say.
But it's a lot like
Yeah, we know you didn't,
a
Steven.
syrup. I mean, it's really pretty sweet. Still, I mixed it with some fizzy water, and it was tasty. It just tasted kind of like a grape soda. So
That's how I like my wine.
Like grape soda.
I'm not a big
Wow.
My palate is very uneducated.
I'm not much of a drinker at all, so I like some things.
Hey, it is perfectly fine not to be a drinker. So you have called upon Shae in the back of the Purple Lady, which is known for people drinking a lot, and asked for her help. Shae, what has brought you to this moment?
Shae, Scourge is going to ask her point blank. We have a problem, Shae. We need to contact someone I think you know, Fayne. As far as we can tell, she could be in this room right now and we wouldn't know. But I bet you would know. And it's rather urgent.
Wait, Scourge. Fayne is a master of disguise. How do we know that Shae isn't Fayne?
You know, that's,
How would Fayne know that we're looking for her?
maybe.
Well, as insulting as that mere suggestion is,
Mhm.
I would hate to be Fayne, personally, but I have my reasons. Well, how can I prove to you that I am not Fayne, is the question.
What did we talk about last time that we met up, Shae?
Ah, yes. That was when you were still in the prison, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I paid a little visit. I delivered a cake. There was a file inside.
Okay, it's her. I believe you.
Classic.
It is a classic move. That's true.
Do you happen to know where she could be found, or could you maybe help us find her?
Well, I can help. I try not to have anything to do with her if I can help it, but I can help at the very least.
So, also, question: Scourge was saying that Fayne had a connection to Lilton, and I wondered if you knew what that was.
All right, Eric, quick moment to separate my OOC knowledge from my IC knowledge here. Does Shae know?
I think it has come up, yes.
Okay. Fayne's Lilton's daughter.
That's what your children will look like, Artemisia. If you I'm sure they would. You will love them just the same.
Oh, she's gonna make an obscene gesture at him. I won't do the equivalent on screen because PG-13.
That seems reasonable.
Mummy, rub my back.
She
Well,
okay. Like lightning is coming up in her hand.
Now it's an
Calm down,
aggressive
calm down. There's no need for that. I think we can all just accept that no one likes that.
I actually do, but that's for another time. How do we find her? What would you do? What would be your first suggestion?
Well, one way would be to lure her out with something she wants, but the question is, what does she want? She does like to get into trouble. Usually, if you can think of anything that Lilton has planned, she might be all up in the works there.
Does she likes to work against her father?
Okay.
Yes and no.
Shae, you have heard a rumor that a number of the nobles of Westgate have fled the city to the Sunset Mantle, there to take refuge during the time of troubles. That's what they call it, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And completely ahistorical. And you also, like, when they ask you where Fayne might be, you have this little impulse in the back of your head, like, she's probably looking for where she can stir up the most trouble.
Yeah. And I'll even relay that. I'll be like, Fayne operates on this process of she wakes up and she goes, how can I cause the most problems today? So I have a feeling with all these nobles evacuating the city for, well, to be fair, understandable reasons, given the untimely demise of several of them, I have a feeling she's going to be hovering around them, using her shape-changing illusion abilities to cause as much trouble as possible, and probably stealing as many of their valuables as she can.
Well, I have one true sight that I can give one of us so that we can see past her disguise. But if we're separated, then I don't know how we're gonna figure out who she is.
Well, somebody's got to talk us in there, I suspect, and that's probably going to be me.
True sight is the key to. It isn't just an illusion. She actually can change her shape with that little bauble that she has, that little ball. So you won't, if you pat her on the back, thinking that there's an illusion that she doesn't have wings, that you will find the wings, that you won't. They're actually not there. So be ready. True sight is, wait a minute. If it's not an illusion, true sight won't help. She's actually the thing.
I have a feeling if I accompany you, my mere presence might rile her up enough that she slips. So we don't like each other.
I have an excellent idea. There was a time when she, like many people, fancied me a bit. And if I were to...
Like many people.
Cute quizzical look.
If I were to enter the place on your arm with you, that would even be worse. She would be both jealous and whatever it is.
Confused?
Confused, yeah.
I think that might be just the thing.
You know what? If anything that you're saying holds even a little bit of truth, that actually could be hilarious.
I agree.
Okay.
Goddess below. I'm in.
Well, great. So, do you think we'll need anything else to get in? Like a bunch of money or some nobility passes?
I mean, so I didn't really leave myself in a very good state with the other members of the council, those that remain.
They probably don't want to see me either.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bleth was wanting to work with us, and so that's an in, but we kind of need to give her an answer on whether we have an official, like, working together relationship. And Stong, yeah, before we, like, say yes to Bleth, I think she is, like, was kind of specifically threatening you, so... Yeah, well, Cecilia was thinking that maybe we shouldn't mention it, but I think it is enough of a threat. So
I mean,
the
is it a
half orc guard that she had at the meeting where everything went wrong, she had his head in a bag that she showed to us.
Ooh. At that mention of that, I think Stong recalls that half orc was actually turned towards his side, so he was like his secret friend while he was evil. And for a moment, he looks a bit sad, and he says, "Are you sure it was that guard, and that he was absolutely dead?"
So Artemisia is gonna go, and she's like, she's not really great at being demonstrative to anybody but family, but she like puts a hand on his arm, unless he pulls away. But and she's like, I thought I recognized him, and he was very dead because it was just his head in the bag. So I thought you deserved to know. Sorry if it is a lot to deal with, but
Thank you. We'll have to take her really seriously if she's willing to murder her own guard. Do you think she'll be over at this noble retreat?
I mean, seems slightly less likely because Bleth was actually out there doing things as opposed to the other houses that might be hiding out. But if we go and she's there, like, it's something we need to be aware of. But I think we might be safe for now. But we do have to give her an answer at some point. All the many things that we need to do, but priorities.
All right.
Bless. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we
Yeah,
head over?
but I
Well-
mean, who else on the Merchant Council? I mean, other than Mirren,
Merchant
not-
Council.
say that about. So
She's a criminal just like the rest of them. I say,
It
as a
was her-
criminal.
she could make you all guys look like nobles, but I think we might have to just. Well, Scourge, you can sneak in, right?
Do you think they won't recognize my inherent nobility? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, that nose is very distinctive.
I don't know how to answer that.
I am
a trick
happy to
question.
sneak in if you like. And
Well, we should. What I'm thinking is we need to go up there, and I will try to talk us in. But if it goes wrong, then we need a backup plan.
Mm.
Since we don't, since
I mean-
Cecilia is off, she's looking for Ruan, isn't she, with Rogar and
Oh.
Sarshan?
And
Yes, as far as you know, that's where they are, off
Okay.
looking for Ruan.
is she the author of The Seeming?
Yes.
Hmm. Right.
I mean, I might be able to get Ilera to pull a string or two.
That's worth trying.
I mean,
Yeah, it might be
given
better to go in sort of with that as opposed to get turned away, and then that sort of makes it harder.
I
to
mean,
get in.
Illara
Given-
appears at the side of your table. Ah,
Hey.
he doesn't even jump. She's just used to it.
how does Scourge react?
He raises his glass to his lips and drinks and nods slowly to her and says, "Just so."
I was hoping he was going to say, so that's what that feels like. But she says, so I heard that a visit to the hot springs is in order. I just so happen to have an invitation. She slides it onto the table.
You are
I had a feeling.
It wouldn't strictly be for pleasure. I do need some business as well. Shae, if you would, well, the instructions are enclosed.
Of course.
Thank you, Sweetling.
She'll take the seal, the invitation, and kind of take a look at it.
Okay. Yes, apparently, it's an invitation for 4 people, led by Shae Darksong, and it gives a rough description of you. And like, if anyone else read this, they might blush slightly, but you know, you're kind of used to the way Ilra writes about you.
Yeah.
And the other instructions are to just conduct some business with the head priestess of the onsen, whose name is Rumiki. Specifically about a potential partnership between them and the Purple Lady. So it's just some esoteric business details.
That
Fair
seems-
enough. Shouldn't be too
You
difficult.
get this, yeah. You get the sense that that's mostly a cover for you.
All right.
Yeah. Shae's used to that sort of thing, so it's just kind of par for the course.
Hmm. It does seem like you need a priestess of what? One of her priestesses here behind the bar. It's a natural fit, I think. Anyway, how shall we get there? How far is it away? I forget. A couple of days ride?
Well, it depends if you're going to use the teleportation circle.
That one.
There's where is that circle?
Well,
No,
the one in
well-
Dark Dance, remember, that we made?
Oh yes, yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know where it lets out if it goes straight to the onsen, but
It just goes only to the hottest vacation spots.
well, it went to
Didn't that-
Mr. North, so
Didn't that malfunction that one time?
Sure, but that was
Yeah.
only once.
it's
Yeah.
well. So Artemisia isn't worried because Artemisia always goes back to Bear House. It's fine.
Hmm.
The rest of y'all, like, if you want to hold her hands extra tight, like when we leave the onsen, to make sure
Oh.
we get back to the right place.
That, and if I recall, the last time you lot went to a hot spring, one of you got stabbed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Well, and
Oh,
then
that- we don't talk about
Cecilia
that.
had to leave.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like Artemisia is super looking forward to this, but
I'm quite
You
looking
must.
forward to it. I don't
of
feel
course
like
you are.
Let's take this and go. I think the teleportation circle is safe enough, and it'll save us a lot of time.
Yep.
Mhm.
Be interesting.
I'm going
Excellent.
to get
Yeah, so we head over to the teleportation circle in Dark Dance Manor.
Great. So
Should
we,
probably. Oh,
we pick up with you having arrived on the trail leading to the hot springs. So the journey was largely uneventful. The teleportation did work correctly.
yay!
It didn't teleport you to the building directly, but it teleported you onto the trail leading up to it. Mirren told you that it was going to teleport you to the gates. She missed by about half a mile. But unfortunately, she missed by half a mile horizontally.
Oh no.
So
So you get as it you arrive as the sun is starting to set, and you get these beautiful views of the sunset against the mountains over the savage frontier.
So Scourge, did you tell Artemisia anything about the rest of the different visions you saw in Sarshan's head? Because I know Cecilia told Artemisia what Cecilia had seen, but there were some things that only Scourge saw.
yes, of course.
Okay. Because Artemisia has been sort of like clearly thinking about that the whole time.
Yes. The trouble with his, I mean, it was a scramble. I'm glad someone else is thinking about it. I could not get a handle on it.
So that there was the one that Artemisia saw that seemed like the first one where it all started. The golden
Yes.
raven.
Yes.
He
the
said.
gold- yes. And there seemed to be some arrangement made in that moment.
And it seems like when he dies, he gets to try again to
I-
protect Cecilia, I think.
That may be. I couldn't. I could not connect the dots on those things, but it seems like he has. Yes, I mean it can't be the same reality, can it? In which he dies, he kills. Yes, that sounds good. That's a good working hypothesis.
And so I was also thinking, the spear witch. She's going to call her the spear witch. The spear witch was in some of those visions,
Yes.
and so I think that maybe, because you remember, the Spear Witch put a gesh on Ruan where he couldn't talk to me or Cecilia, and so now Sarshan can't talk to people about stuff. So I think maybe the gesh about not talking about it is from the Spear Witch. The Golden Raven gave him the job to do, and then for some, I don't why the Spear Witch would want to get involved, but maybe the Spear Witch is did a gesh so that he can't talk about it. Maybe she wants to break him and Cecilia up, and so she put a gesh on Sarshan so that he can't tell Cecilia what she needs to know.
This is beyond me. I like that you are making sense of it. I'm happy to remember things I saw. I'm glad you're making sense of it.
Stong, I mean, Cecilia talks to you
She does.
a little bit. Does that make sense with anything she's told you?
She doesn't really tell me that much, to be honest.
Yeah,
We've
maybe.
made each other certain promises. I trust her and she trusts me, but we don't have to tell each other all of the secrets that we have.
Well, so everybody, I guess the Spear Witch, her thing is a green butterfly. Artemisia, actually, she's wearing a necklace that actually has little stones made to look like a sort of emerald colored butterfly. They're not
So
real
do you
emeralds, but
touch it while you're speaking?
yeah. And so, I mean, maybe she sends them from a distance, so she's not actually here, but maybe she's around. So if you see one, tell me or catch it, or because we need to find out how she's involved. So yeah.
Okay.
Catching
Keeping an
bugs
eye
and
out.
catching bugs and shaking trees for fruit. These are two activities that I really look forward to.
and she's gonna see if she can let the others get a little bit ahead and pull aside to Stong a little bit.
Yep.
And be like, so
Although
you-
I do want to point out, you just let the two rogues go off ahead, assuming that they wouldn't be listening in on your conversation. As long as you're okay with that, all
I
right.
mean, she's got to try.
Carry on.
Scourge already saw all the visions. She's gonna go to Stong and be like, so do you know who the Spear Witch is?
No.
Did Cecilia tell you?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Do
Now
I
she's
need to
gonna
know?
look at the others.
I mean, do you? Okay.
I mean, so she's gonna lean and whisper. So she's doing her best. I don't know that she has any spells to she doesn't have message or anything to keep it from the others, but
Yeah, I don't think you
gonna
do.
I mean, I could do a sending to you and you can reply back in 25 words or less.
well, she only needs 3, so
Okay, so Stong does a sending to Artemisia. He's like, okay, now you have 25 words or less to tell me.
Perfect.
So the Spear Witch is my and Cecilia's mother
Oh,
and Ruan's too. And then the rest is I'm not gonna count it out, but it's and that's really weird and it's freaking me out.
Up the trail, Shae is just like, they got smart.
Up the trail, Shae and Scourge are just playing hide and seek.
Wait, I thought your mom was Marcelea.
Stepmom.
Stepmom. Sorry. So is this other mother bad news?
So is he saying that out loud now?
Mhm.
Okay. so much for keeping
Does
stuff in
Stong-
message.
Stong
Does
is not like a
Stong have
secret
an
type.
inside voice?
No.
All right.
A mother from another something.
So Artemisia is going to be like, yes, I think the Spear Witch is very bad news, and that is why we should watch out for her. But speak of her no more.
Okay. Will do.
I'm
Let's go.
assuming, by the way, that we took the time to get clothing appropriate for where we're headed.
Oh, Artemisia did.
Shae would have as well. I mean, we're traipsing into an onsen. I don't
Yes.
think
What are you wearing exactly?
going in armed is a bad idea. Anyway,
I think Stong is just wearing what he normally wears, except his baby Bjorn. In place of it, there are just like these two cloth straps that have the same pattern as the Bjorn.
Aw.
They're just tied like tightly to him. Yeah, he's gotten used to wearing that, so that's what he tells you.
Nice.
Okay. Before we go in, let's make an effort to look as though we are disguised. If we go in arm in arm as ourselves, our prey will smell a rat. But if it looks like we're going in incognito, then she will see through the ruse and think that she has the upper hand. You see what I'm saying?
no. We also have cover though already. Like,
What?
I'll hold up the invitation. It's like,
Oh yes. Oh, I know. But I think she'll smell a rat. She'll know that we know she's here if we just show up as ourselves. It's too fishy otherwise. I just think if we, if I put on a minimum amount of disguise, but I still walk like myself, she'll recognize that. I still talk like myself, she'll recognize that. And she'll think that I don't know she's here, right? Do you understand? I will do that in any case. And if you would like to go as yourself, that's fine.
I like how we somehow picked the four most fashionable people in the group to do this adventure. And yes, I am including Stong.
Thank you.
Are you wearing the red dragon armor or are you wearing the barrel?
Red dragon armor.
Because
I
you
don't think
said
he would.
what I usually wear, so
he has two modes.
Yeah, I think he's just wearing like his normal armor. He wouldn't think about like going to a place and dressing for it ahead of time. He thinks that he could just strip down at some point and just jump into the hot springs if he needs to. He ain't a
Great.
shy boy.
that is definitely true. Artemisia, what does your dress look like? And did you bring multiple dresses?
Well, of course she brought luggage. So she doesn't usually go for dresses. She goes for long sort of jackets with long tails, and then leggings. And so she got the new sort of spring jacket for Greengrass that's just beautifully, sumptuously embroidered with like wolves and dragons sort of in this border along it, and it looks incredibly expensive. And the rest of her outfit is a little bit more sort of subdued, plain, basic colors, good quality fabric, but to show that off. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Shae, what are you come attired like?
Well, so I feel like when she's acting as in kind of an official capacity, as in service of Illyra, she's got kind of a look she goes for, and much like her adventuring gear, it's all black. But I'm thinking like knee-high boots, leather pants. There's a black jacket with a collar that has a little half moon pin, like a little silver half moon pin affixed to one side of it. And then I think the one thing that she's wearing that isn't like just straight black is a cream colored blouse under the jacket. And then of course her choker with the gem on it.
Okay. And let me ask this to the whole group. When you went to call upon Shae, what time of day and or night was it? Was it early in the day? Was it
Early.
I felt
Okay.
like, yeah, early.
all right? How difficult was it to persuade them not to go until evening, Shae?
I mean, Shae definitely would have tried to persuade them not to go until evening. She has never been a fan of the sun, at least as long as they've known her.
Okay.
But water and the sun, it goes so well together.
The
All
sun
right.
and I just don't get along.
Oh, okay. Out of consideration for that, Stog would be willing to go at night for sure.
All right, so you are arriving in the evening. You have this excellent view of the mountains and the sunset, like I described. Oh, did we talk about what Scourge was wearing? Scourge, did you have one of your fantastic outfits?
Yes, I was trying to find a picture of it, but I'll just have to describe it.
Excellent.
Since he wants to, he basically always wears a version of the same thing, which is black on black, but just like Artemisia's, sumptuously embroidered, but you can only tell when the light hits it right that because it's black on black, you can see the brocade, the embroidering, but only when the light's right. He has his feather half cape, the crow feather half cape, and he has black silken trousers or breeches and high boots. And he has a high top hat, which it's a narrow stovepipe one that accentuates his lankiness. And the only thing he's using his disguised self scarf for is to shrink his nose into a little petite little nose. So he looks like himself, but as if he had a normal sized nose.
Okay.
And some bright silver cufflinks and button. What are those things that go down the front of one of your buttons? The little button links. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And of course his cane, which is Mr. Webby in disguise.
Of course. So you arrive outside the gates of the onsen. We can go to roll 20 anytime you want.
Mhm.
Basically, it is this relatively small but laid out, expansive building, just a single story building set on poles above ground, with a series of bridges between the buildings. And the architecture is obviously of a Shao style. The last time you were here, it was very restful and relaxing, except for that orc raid that you fought off.
And Cecilia going away.
Yeah, as I said in the chat, it looks like Cecilia's in memoriam, but that's not true. She's just in Hawaii on her vacation. So don't worry, she'll be back. She's having a good time in Hawaii. I hope you're having a good time, Aaron. The rest of the party will probably not die without you. Okay. Out in front, you also see that there are some stables for horses. And you can see several people working out in front of those stables. I'll just put them on the map.
Oh, is it like CrossFit, with those open front gyms and they're working?
They're not working out in that way. They're working with hay and straw and around this well. You see some of the grasses have grown a little bit long. You can see in the image there. And the whole area has a mixture between peaceful and also refined and a little bit wild. Like it seems like this place has just kind of grown out of the landscape.
So Stong looks at his companions And then he looks over at the workers on the side, and he says, "Hey, maybe we could get some information about this place from those guys. Because if there's anybody here who stands out like Fayne does, they would probably notice her."
Well, except she can look like however she wants.
Oh, that's true.
She's not typically prone to waltzing into some place in her natural, undisguised form.
I mean, Fayne might be posing as one of the workers too. I mean, I think it's a good idea to talk to them.
Okay, yeah, let's go see if one of them is her. So I guess Stong will, I guess he first casts True Sight on himself, and then he's gonna waltz over.
And
Okay.
Shae will walk over.
Sorry, I found a horse miniature in the art, and now I'm all excited about that. So I'm just gonna make these horses appear too. Aha! Look at that, horses.
Well, do they have? Oh, they have riders. Nice.
Yeah, they have riders, but like the horses in the stables don't actually have riders.
I was hoping it was a little.
That you
apes.
can tell. Okay. All right, you head over to the laborers. They are patting down the horses, which are of a number of different colors. Some of them have different heraldry and like very finely crafted saddles that you can see sitting on a nearby board. So there's one basically next to each horse. Obviously, some of these are very wealthy people own these horses. And there are also a bunch of wagons and stuff that are parked out behind the stables. I didn't put them on the map. They're there. The laborers look over to you and they say, "Oh, well met. Well met."
Hey, how's it going?
Yes. Perfectly, I suppose. This is a place of wellness and healing. Have you come to unburden yourself before the Lady Firehair's blessings?
Yeah, we're also looking for our friend Fayne. Have you seen her? She's got wings and horns on her head, and she looks kind of like a tiefling.
They
An
look
extra.
at one another.
An extra tiefling.
That doesn't sound like anyone we've seen. But the realms are a wide and diverse place. It's possible you'll find her. These people are kind of a mixture of local Chandathan humans and Shao humans. They're just working all together.
Okay, so Stong leans over to the one closest to him and he says, "Well, if you haven't seen my friend, what about any particular news or any crimes that have happened in this area recently?"
So the loud conversation has drawn the attention of someone in the back. This is a large, muscular man of Shao heritage. He has bright red hair. You think it's dyed that way. And he is carrying a blacksmith hammer. And he comes over and he says, "Ah, travelers, welcome.
Hello.
I am Tobo. I am in command of the chores here at the onsen. Perhaps you wish to go into the main structure and see the lady."
I mean, Stong looks to Shae. What do you think?
In a moment, I do have business here to attend to.
Wait, see which lady?
Are you asking? You're asking him? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, Lady Rumiki, the priestess of the Sunset Mantle.
I believe it's she who I have business with, actually.
Ah,
Just kinda-
yes, of course.
And I will, if need be, I will hold up the invitation as well.
He scrutinizes it. And then he looks back and he says, "Well, that looks fine to me. Shae, you can make an insight check if you like.
All right, insight check. Let's see here. Where are we going here? Let's see. So,
Since he's interacting with you, I'll just move him closer to you.
that's 25.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, he definitely did not, because he could not read that letter. Like, he just looked at it and saw that it had a bunch of words on it and said, "Yep, that's probably right."
Can I lean over to him and enhance his intelligence, and then maybe he'll be able to read it then?
I mean,
You want to cast a spell on him?
No, I'll save it for later.
Okay.
I would also
answer's yes.
say that, generally it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. If you haven't learned how to read, you haven't learned
Yeah,
how to read.
casting,
I mean, that's
testing
true.
Owl's wisdom on someone it's not like the Matrix. It's not like you plug in this knowledge.
I know Kung Fu.
Yes.
If only I knew comprehend languages.
Yeah, that might do it. Okay. Tobo just kind of ushers you politely but firmly in the direction of the main building.
Thank you.
Some of the laborers, Stong, go ahead and make a charisma check, because you were kind of the one who led the charge there. It's your mighty 8 charisma.
While we're outside, can Artemisia
Oh,
do it?
yeah, those
yeah.
laborers look terrified of you, and they are glad you are leaving. Yeah, Artemisia, what did you want to do?
An investigation check for butterflies.
Yeah, go ahead. Make an investigation check.
No, 18.
Okay. You didn't see any butterflies, but you did notice that as you were looking for butterflies, you observed the saddles and you counted the different heraldries that were there, and you picked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different heraldries. And since you were however briefly, a member of the Merchant Council, you can recognize what they are.
Mhm.
And one is of Malavan, one is of Thorsar, one is of Guldar, one is of Sem, and another one you don't recognize.
Okay.
Maybe one of the lesser houses that you're not acquainted with.
Well, she's gonna tell that to the others instead
Oh
of
wow.
Wow.
Thank you, Fabled 42.
Fable 42 gifted a bunch of people some subs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
that.
appreciate
Thank
Very
you
that.
so much.
Cool. Thank you for the inspiration too, whoever.
For those who are asking about the code, you use the code in the Idle Champions app, but you get the code by typing in "We Love Codename." Yes? That's how it works?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
We love Codename with a
Exclamation point.
before it.
Yeah.
Like a command in Twitch. Anyway, yeah. All right. So you're going to head toward the main building?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. As the sun is going down, activity is slowing down in the main complex, but you can see that several people are still out and about doing things. They're dressed in various robes, many of them with the same necklace, which is of burning red hair. And which you think you remember from last time you were here to be a symbol of Sunite, the goddess of love and beauty, who is the patron goddess of this establishment. And you come upon the priestess who is in charge of the onsen, who you remember from last time, whose name is Ramiki. That's her right there. And she looks up and recognizes you as well. She says, "Oh, welcome, friends. Welcome back. It is good to see you again." And she sees Scourge, and she looks a little anxious.
I can't wait to disrobe. This place is... We don't need to wear clothing here, do we? I seem to recall it's rather like a nudist facility. I can't wait.
Yes, well, this is a surprise. Are you here representing any particular party? Or are you here for yourselves?
Sturge's done.
Shae slinks out of the shadows.
Yeah. I can answer that, actually, and I'll hand over the invitation.
From Lady Nathlin.
Yes.
She smiles a little and she says, such a good old friend. And she says, oh, I see you wish to discuss some business. Excellent. Let us see you to your rooms. The onsen is somewhat busy at the moment, but we do still have rooms available.
I'm glad that there will be space enough.
Of course, of course.
Thought we might
yeah.
see if there are any old friends here that we might catch up with.
Oh,
So-
perfect. There is indeed a gathering at midnight for a revel. You would be most welcome to attend.
Clothing
Ooh.
optional, I assume.
Oh no, this is a clothing requested revel.
Oh.
But that still gives you several hours to prepare. Would you like to bathe, to eat? Must have been a long journey.
Ooh, Stong perks up at eating. He's gonna eat for sure.
I'm happy to. If you don't presently have time to discuss business, then I'm happy to take some time to relax myself.
Yes, well, business should always be done when one is fully relaxed, I believe.
I can agree with that.
Please. She gestures to several very attractive attendants who guide you over to rooms to stay in. They ask discreetly if any of you are sharing rooms with one another.
Sure. I bunk with whoever.
They go, oh, yes.
And then Stong like looks around at, each of the other members of the party. Yeah.
Shae is conspicuously absent.
Shae has vanished into the shadows, and Scourge is like, she beat me to it.
I'd rather have my own room. I'm rather, private individual until
Yes, the lady has given us discreet instructions should you return, Lord Gleer.
Excellent. As you know, I would prefer a rather remote room close to the hot pools. Possible.
Of course.
Non-smoking.
Come with us. And they lead you along a series of wooden walkways past a number of pools of steaming water that come up out of the stone. They're lined with trees and brush and flowers, and it's all very pretty. You suspect that it would be even more impressive in the daylight, but the way is lit by lanterns. You can see there'll be a lantern every so often on the walkways. There are also lanterns on some of the stones that sit in the middle of the water, and it produces this magical effect.
I noticed
Which is to say, you all take 10 necrotic damage. No, just not that kind of magical effect. Yeah, and you see people working. I don't know why this server is off on the ground. Okay, and they nod to you as you go past.
And
So I'm just going to move all of you. I don't know where Stong is. Okay, there he is.
Stong wishes to ask one of the workers, is the buffet here open 24/7?
and where is it?
Alas, I am unfamiliar with this term, buffet.
Well, it's like a dining area that has all the food that a person could eat. Just
Of course.
Pre-made and like these large spreads on tables. It's a little bit like heaven, but on Earth. Or Toro.
I feel like they'd never financially recover.
Well, food can certainly be arranged for you. I heard that you were going to the revel this midnight, and there will be food there as well. So they set you up in this set of rooms up here. And Scourge, they show you to one of these center rooms. In fact, this one.
Perfect. So these little beds, were these for halflings?
Those are normal sized beds.
Nice.
It's just that the room basically has only the bed in it.
Scourge is going to close the door and start.
And they show Artemisia to this other very large room.
So she's looking very torn because like the atmosphere of the place is starting to like have its effect on her, and she's like, "No, we're supposed to be working. We're supposed to be finding Fae and butterflies later."
Or actually,
Later
you know
we'll do
what?
that
It
later.
might make more sense. Okay, so the attendant shows you to this room, but it appears to be used. Like the bed is ruffled and there are like clothes strewn all over the place. And the attendant goes, "Oh no, my lady, I'm so sorry. Please, it appears that one of the visiting nobles is already using this room. We shall put you up here." And she shows you this much smaller, kind of disappointing room. Although it does have a bookshelf full of books.
Who was in the other room?
She bows and apologizes and then leaves.
Oh, dang it. Who was there?
You didn't see any people. You just saw that the room was shockingly used. Anyway. Okay, Scourge, your room is huge. It's sumptuous.
Has a private bath too.
It has a private bath in it.
Well, but that's not any fun. He wants to be seen with everyone else. So
The attendant did direct your attention to the north, which is where the hottest bathing is.
and
I mean hottest as in
hotties.
temperature-wise.
he's definitely
It's
wants
a Sunite onsen. Every bathing here is hot.
Well,
but-
Scourge is going to disrobe, find the smallest towel available, and wrap it around his midsection, and accidentally drop it on the way to the biggest pool up here, where he will soak and float on his back.
Great. Okay, roll a d20, please.
Just as exposed as he possibly can be.
See, the thing is, did I roll a 20?
Yes.
You did. Natural 20.
Did.
Excellent. Okay, you have ended up in the baths that are intended for female guests,
But you see,
and there you are.
it doesn't
Nobody
matter.
seems to bother. Nobody seems to mind, however.
That's right. They probably look at him as a particularly unbecoming female because he has no jiggly man bits. And so, without looking very closely, you couldn't distinguish. Maybe he's hag spawn or something.
That is definitely not what they assume.
Oh. Okay.
They just
Yeah,
look at
okay,
you
first.
and they nod and welcome you there. There are no other bathers at the moment. You're just, in this pool on your own because it's getting to be very late and most people have already bathed. What do the rest of you do?
Ordering room service.
Okay, I want to say, all right, so for a little bit of context, the last time that the regulars were here and Scourge disrobed, the priestesses were a little bit confused. They weren't sure what to do or what to say. But this time when you're here, they seem to have learned from the experience and they just they welcome you and they're happy that you're there.
Excellent. That's the way it should be.
So you haven't been able to scandalize anybody.
He doesn't want to stand like
I'm just
wants to
saying.
educate.
Okay, very good. Okay, the
So-
rest of you.
She might actually take the time to do some bathing herself.
Okay. So when you head up to the baths, I'll just go ahead and move your mini myself here. You see there are a couple of priestesses who are there in the room, and they nod to you, and they say, "Your companion, Lord Gleer, is bathing as well. Would you like?" He just stormed past us as though he knew exactly where to go. Would you like any information?
Any information?
Yes. And then they walk you through the procedure of bathing in this
yes.
place. They give you a towel. They tell you where to disrobe and where to put the towel on, how to wear the towel, not to bother anybody else, etc. All of that.
Yeah.
It's a very regimented sort of sequence of things. And as they're going through this explanation, you're starting to think, "Oh man, how did Scourge mess this up? What did Scourge do?" All right, you get in a little hallway there, and there are two rooms. One with a red banner and one with a blue banner. The priestess told you to go in the one with the red banner.
Well, I don't see why she wouldn't then.
Okay, Shae, you walk in and there's Scourge, naked and floating.
I mean, he took part in the dance that one time, so it's nothing she hasn't seen before.
That's very true. There's no headstone to be strategically positioned this time.
Yes. She'll.
But there are bubbles from the warm water floating up around Scourge. Because it's a PG-13 stream.
Yes. For her part, Shae is largely unbothered because she doesn't care. Like, as an Illustrated, nude dancing in the moonlight is a thing, so it's not like she cares about other people's nudity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all adults here.
Yeah, exactly. I will note, I will say that the symbol of House Bleth, it's the downturned knife with the fire. Yes. Yep. Same symbol.
Sometimes downturned, sometimes upturned.
Fair enough.
You see it both ways.
Yes. So Scourge might note, he might have noted at the dance as well, she has the same symbol tattooed on her back, like big, like a full back piece.
Left?
Fire knives.
Oh. Are you a fire knife?
I was a fire knife. It's been a very, very long time. Though unless they've changed drastically in the last century, I highly doubt that they are any better than they used to be.
You keep the tattoo.
Never bothered to have it removed. Kind of, I forget it's there most of the time.
Interesting. Do you have you ever been a night mask?
No, never.
What about
I don't think I was I was in Westgate for quite a while back in the day, but I never ran with the night masks.
That's probably best. I mean, fire knives, they're sort of the mundane sort of bad, and then there's the night masks, and they're rather supernaturally bad. Probably better to deal with the mundane.
Yeah, I imagine all the vampires get tiresome.
Oh my lord.
Scourge
floats back and just looks at the sky. Did you know we had some luck exterminating one recently?
Oh?
Yes, the Lord of Whispers, the yes, the what?
Yeah, whatever.
He we got Shiny was here. Shiny was here, and he laid some serious smackdown, and so did Artemisia, and so did everyone else, and we got lucky again. I'm starting to think it's not luck, but well,
You're good at what you do.
no, actually, I've learned recently I'm quite not good at what I do. I think I've lost my touch. But one thing I can still do, I can act. As long as I can act, I won't lose total hope in myself.
Well, if you can pretend you know what you're doing and are good at what you do, is there really any difference?
Sometimes, no.
I just want to cut in for a second. Shae, did you get in the water, or are you sitting on one of the stools?
She will get in the water, yes.
All right. Shae slides into the water.
In your encounters with the Night Masks, have you run into any of their... what do they call them? They have these...
Warm and soothing.
Sort of vampires, but not quite.
You know, it's funny you should ask that. We did once in my first months in Westgate, and I haven't seen one since. I don't know enough about them. Do they call them vampire spawn?
They're not quite vampire spawn, as far as I understand. Vampire spawn generally are just mindless vampires. Full vampires, though. Ones that are under the full control of their progenitor.
And then there's something else. A third variety?
Something like that.
What do they call that?
Would Shae actually know the name? I can't recall if she was ever actually told.
Yes.
Okay. Is it...
Okay. Do you know what it is, or do you need me to tell you?
It was the Deathbringers?
That's right. It has the pretentious name Deathbringers.
She'll even call it
Pretty metal,
pretentious.
It is pretty metal.
She'll...
Are they undead?
Yes and no.
Are the
Somewhere
spawn undead?
Yes, the spawn are undead.
So how are they created? This yes and no sort of Death Eater.
Caught between life and death.
Well, I can only speak from what I've seen, but I'm fairly certain the method that I saw was not the standard.
Is it something like drinking the blood of a vampire?
That could be involved. She's getting kind of cagey.
Okay, insight check.
Okay.
Insight check. Is she
nice.
talking about herself?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's definitely. You're pretty sure when she said, "I can only speak from what I've seen," she meant what I've experienced.
So,
but she kind of like went with "seen" at the last second.
So Shae, how did it happen for you?
Well, it involved time travel.
Okay, let's pause for a second.
Yes.
Well, it involved time travel, and then Sturge is like,
cut.
Okay, Stong.
Uh-huh.
So the attendants have brought you as much food as you can eat, which I do not say lightly.
Okay.
They have brought you a lot of food, and it's very good. It's mostly dumplings and fresh caught game. You would have expected fish because you've eaten a lot of like Shao food before, but this place is landlocked up in the mountains, so you get the sense that they don't have a ready supply of fresh fish. But the flavors are all still there, and it is very good and very filling.
Stong is going to be like enjoying this food like mouthfuls at a time. He just like is shoving like food into his mouth and chewing on it. And as like the last of the servant are about to leave the room, he like stops them, and he says, "Oh, I believe I'm here on a business trip, so you could put all of this on the tab of Ilra." Definitely.
Of course. Of course.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. You should deliver a little bit of this food to my friends over there too. And I say like the numbers on their room.
Okay.
Artemis
Yes,
is
we shall definitely inquire.
gonna come by Stong's room at some point if she can.
Okay. Yeah, the attendants are leaving, and Artemisia, you come walking up to Stong's room.
Yeah, and I think you catch Stong like he's eating, and then you see him like he doesn't realize that you're there, and like out of reflex he says, "Man, this is so good. You should really have some." And then he like puts the food down near his chest for Mirabelle, but then he realizes that she's not there, and then he's like just puts it in his own mouth and chews it a little bit slower.
Gonna knock like on the door frame so that she doesn't surprise him.
He looks up and sees you and says, "Oh, Artemisia, hey, you should really try
It's,
some of this. It's great."
Oh yeah, I wondered if you wanted some company. You doing okay?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm sad that Mirabelle's no longer here, and I miss Shiny and the rest of our friends, but I mean, she's got to spend some time with her other dad, and I could just send her every day, even though she never replies to me.
That's true. Oh, that's too bad. You should send Shiny and tell him to tell her to reply.
Oh, good idea.
I mean, and she says Shiny, and she's like, "Oh, Adrian. You should send Adrian," because she does try to say his name, but with it all around her, she slips up.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely do that. But do you have any idea how we can find Fayne?
Yeah. I mean, Scourge knows her the best, so I was sort of hoping that she might come to him. Because why would she, like, we're here, and if she's, you know, in another shape, why would she even, like, bother with us? She's probably just going to continue doing what she's doing. I did look at the heraldry on the horses, so if I know the people from that house and she isn't one of them, then, but it could be like a cadet branch or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to at least match up people whose their house I saw their heraldry on a horse and the person, but I'm not.
Ooh, I like that idea. Is there some way I could help with that?
Well, there wouldn't be any like paper napkins, but she's gonna see if she can find something where she can draw the sigils of each house that she saw,
Okay.
and tell Stong the names that she knows for them.
Let me see. I might be able to show people some art of those sigils. Yeah, so you start drawing, and you're continuing to have this conversation.
I guess in the meantime, him knowing that she's going to do that, he's going to begin casting Summon Greater Steed, and he's going to try to summon a Pegasus.
Indoors?
Okay.
No, be outdoors. But I figure, you know,
Oh,
once
okay.
I get this list, I could fly around or have it fly you around, and we can try to spot them.
My
Well, why don't we go to the Revel first?
my
and, like,
computer's
just-
doing some weird stuff right now.
Walk around the Revel, and then you can fly around for people who might be like elsewhere on the property who didn't come to the Revel.
Okay. But imagine showing up at the Revel on a Pegasus.
Well, I mean, I don't want to stop you because I kind of want to see that too. But I would not do that.
I mean, you know the
I mean,
nobles better
it
than
sounds-
I.
Fun, like, because I could just kind of float in, but I shouldn't. That's kind of showing off. They wouldn't be. But I mean, I don't want to be on the council anyway, so what do I care what they think of me? She's very torn. It's clear.
E extra.
So I think I can just describe the sigils to you. If we have the no, I know what I can do. All right, let's take a brief aside to check out the Westgate heraldry. So you'll see Roll20 has changed to the invasion, but this map has
Yeah,
the
these are
benefit of
airships.
having the merchant sigils on it. So House Malavan is this golden sun sigil right here. You see?
I don't think I could actually, like, the screen's not scrolling that far. I cut off the left side to
Oh, you cut
prevent
off the
people
left
from
side.
seeing.
Okay, hold on. I can
menus.
deal with that. Can you see it now?
Yes, excellent.
Excellent. Oh yeah, you did cut off some of that. Okay. So yeah, it's this one right here. Oh no. Now it's like moving all over the place. All right. I got a plan. Okay. All right. Is it too obscured? Can you actually make it out?
You make it out.
All right. I tried to get the airship out of the way, but maybe that didn't work. Oh man. Okay. Well. All right.
You're
So,
fine.
House Malavan is this red sun on this golden field, and that is the first one that Artemisia saw. You also saw House Thorsar, which is a blue-skinned hand holding a cob of corn. That's this one right here. See? You also saw House Goldur, which is a black hawk in flight. That might be over here on this other side. Yep, that one right there. You saw one from House Sem, which is an ivory bird claw. I think that's over on this other side. Yep, that one right there. Okay. And those are the symbols that you recall. There was one that you also saw, but you don't really remember it well enough to draw it. And I also wanted to point out the fire knife symbol, which is the tattoo that Shae has on her back. That's this one right here. A downward pointing knife wreathed in flame. Okay.
That's a pretty badass tattoo.
Yep.
It is. It really is.
I'll put it back on the
Only
on the
part of why
map
she
that we
kept it.
want to be. Not that map. This map. Okay.
Artemisia, before like it's time for the revels or anything, also wants to sort of bring up Cecilia like in conversation, but the trouble is conversation isn't heading there. So at one point she's probably just going to be like, "So, Stong, with Cecilia and our mom, not Marcelea, our mom, but I don't kind of know. Has Cecilia ever said how she feels about our mom? Because if our mom is around, like, I know she, with good reason, hates her father, but I kind of don't know what to expect, or if I can help somehow, or what to do."
She's definitely told me things about her dad, but Scaresair is new to me. She hasn't told me much.
Oh,
So
it's
I'm not
because I moved around the background. I'm sorry. It's weird because it just displaced you on the map, but it's because I had moved it around to be the other map. Okay, that should be correct again.
We're just
Weird.
taking a
Roll
stroll,
20.
talking.
Roll 20 is being a little bit strange.
Well, or we're in your room eating and
Yeah,
drawing
it
and
could be.
Yeah, we just been teleporting around the map though, so
Oh, I
that's
see.
why.
Right.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that.
I was looking at
I
roll
don't. I
20.
do not mean to make it confusing. It is confusing, but
Yeah. So I think Stong looks at Artemisia and he says, I understand that. I get that you're concerned. So, I mean, I'd like to help in whatever way I can. So, do you have something that I should do?
I
Do
mean,
you
I guess
need
be
me to-
there for Cecilia if our mom does show up. I don't know. Like, I sort of suspect that like Cecilia will, have maybe won't know what to do about our mom, and I don't know what to do either, but she probably won't want me to like be telling her what to do. So if you can just be there for her to like, I don't know, listen. I don't know if I would be able to.
Oh, thanks. But I think you're also a great listener. But maybe she needs both of us. Maybe she needs all of us to hear out what she has to say, Cause frankly, I mean, it's nice that you're confiding in me, but am I really the most trustworthy member of our group? I'd like to think so.
Does Stong remember what Cecilia told him about Ska? Because Rhiannon does, so.
yes.
But I don't want to push Stong if he wouldn't.
Oh, I mean,
Share that.
maybe I'm just mind blanking on it, so feel free to, refresh me.
Because wasn't it to Stong that Cecilia confessed that part of her pact was that she needs to kill Skaha when she sees her?
Ah, but he didn't know that was her mom, I don't think. So I didn't make the connection.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Heavy.
My mom and I would fight all the time growing up. In fact, it was one of my rights to adulthood, was I needed to beat her in single-handed combat. But she always told me to come at her as if I was trying to kill her, but I never could bring myself to do that. I'll think about it, but I'm not quite sure I know the right words to say to her for this problem.
Well, I just I mean I don't know, because Artemisia doesn't know any of that. So Artemisia would just be sort of like, I don't know like what might happen, but it just seems like a very volatile situation.
Oh.
So
Well, she did tell me something, but
oh, okay.
I don't know if it's my place to tell you. I'm not really good with secrets. So if you press me, I probably would tell you. But that would put me in a weird position. So I'm just gonna eat this food, and he's gonna take some more of the food and just like stuff it in his mouth. And then he's gonna say, with his mouth full of food, she needs to kill her. But with a mouthful of food, hopefully it's garbled enough that Artemisia doesn't understand.
Make an insight check.
Oh god.
Or no, make a perception check because.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, well, do I hear or do I not?
Right.
Come on, roll well. 15.
Yeah, I think you can tell what he's saying.
Not enough food. It's just stuffed more in there.
Something about killing.
Well, so I'm going to say that Artemisia maybe expected this a little bit because she has such a bad relationship with her father that it would not surprise Artemisia. She would never guess the like pact thing, but it would not surprise Artemisia if Cecilia had in her childhood made some kind of like, if I ever see my mother, I'm going to kill her kind of thing. So I think Artemisia would say like, hey, Stong, like, I totally respect that you don't want to give away secrets, but, you know, I thought about this myself, right? And, you know, Cecilia, like, I guess she thinks that maybe she didn't, or it was only in a vision, but she tried to kill her father, and she deserved it, and maybe she thinks our mother deserves it too. And so, like, I don't want that to happen until we know about who she actually is. So I'm gonna try to make sure that maybe they don't meet yet, and that's something you can do. Like, if I figure out who she even is.
Stone like quickly chews the rest of the food and just like swallows it in one great big gulp, and then he says, I think that's wise, but don't you think that if she needs to do something as big as that she has an important reason to?
I mean, need? Because, I mean, it's a totally important reason that our mother abandoned us. But, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to kill her unless she's like Lazar. So, I mean, I don't see why that's a reason.
But, like, don't you think that if she had a choice, if it were just a light decision that she could make without any consequence, she would choose not to? Maybe there's a really big consequence to why she has to.
Oh. Okay. Like, she knows there's something there, but she's not gonna, like, push on it too much harder. She's gonna go away and think about it. Okay. Well, that's another reason to keep them apart, then?
I think that's probably wise.
So if you'll help me do that, then...
Oh, is this a secret I need to keep from Cecilia? Can we just tell her that's what we're doing?
So I think at this point, you are basically out taking your little stroll, and Stong is still carrying like his huge plate full of food. Like,
this stuff is so good.
And
actually, Artemisia is going to eat a little bit of it too.
Yeah, and you're standing on this bridge over a steaming pond below you, a pool of natural mountain spring water, and Artemisia, you're like, you know, leaning on the railing of the bridge, and Stong is stress eating as you're having this stressful conversation.
Secrets, no.
And it is at that point that you hear a loud argument coming from this building to the northeast. And I think at that point, it's 8 o'clock, so it's a good time for us to take our break. So, there's some book talk that needs to happen. So 5 minutes from now, Allie and I will be back talking about some books, and 10 minutes from now, which is 5 minutes from then, hopefully, we can get back to the game. During those first 5 minutes when we're not here, how about if you were in a fantasy setting, what would you do for a vacation? That sounds like a good thing to chat about. And what would they serve you to eat there? Like, what is Stong stress eating?
Yeah. All right. See y'all in 5.
Hail and well met. We're back for our mid-break chat. Alexander Pitchford, aka Shae Darksong, our longtime mod, and she writes our recaps from time to time. I know Aaron writes some of them and you write some of them, but you write Shae's journal, and now you've been doing the videos, and and occasionally pinch hitting when we're low on members, or for our special Extra Life adventure. That was pretty great. So
That was a lot of fun.
it's good to have you.
It's good to be here.
Both Allie and myself have books that came out recently. Mine is just available today. Allie's dinosaur anthology is out now, will be out soon. What's the deal?
It is out now. You can get it on Amazon. There should be a link that's being added to something here.
Yeah, you should be able to find the link somewhere.
But yeah, it's available now. I actually have a copy here.
Excellent.
It's called Apex World of Dinosaurs Anthology. And mine's just one story in it, but all of the stories are pretty good, I would say.
And that right there is the cover to Scourge of the Broken World, which is book 4, the final book for now of my World of Ruin series, which is a post-apocalyptic fantasy series. It's kind of like Game of Thrones meets Fallout is how I describe it to people. There's this great magical war that has ruined the environment for everyone, and the only way people survive it is by going into hiding for centuries until the world is livable again. Except that some people emerged a little bit too early and were twisted and warped by the dark powers. So it's pretty cool, very very dark. If you have kids who really love fantasy, you might want to read it for them before you give it to them to read. It's my Forgotten Realm stuff is kind of a PG-13, a hard PG-13. This is definitely an R, and a hard R at that. So it's not darker and more violent than you'll find in like Neil Gaiman or Joe Abercrombie, but it's adult. It's good. So yeah, our books came out. I've been working on the World of Ruin series for many, many years. I started writing it in the early 2000s, and it was very much about the political situation at the time, which is, I mean, still applicable today. Like, as it's gone on, I've been writing more and more about what's going on in the present time. And a little bit of it is about environmentalism, since it's very much about this world that has been wrecked through the process of irresponsible use of magic. Magic in my setting is like nuclear power. And so it was a magical war that decimated the world. Magic leaves pollution. So whenever people use magic, it like produces smoke and oil and stuff, which is kind of blatantly a ripoff from Dark Sun. But you know, we are all a product of our many influences, aren't we?
Yeah, just a bit. I actually was thinking of, because I'm working on ideas for a book I want to write, but I was trying to think of a new concept, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I like the I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and I like the whole like post-apocalyptic and the tech dinosaurs and stuff, and I was like, oh, but what about that with magic instead? And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, oh, so it'd be kind of like Fallout with cripes, because you'd been talking about your series so much, and I have the first book. I've read it. And it's very good, and it was just like
none of us are going to write the same thing. So you know, if that's what appeals to you, you got to write what you want to write.
Oh yeah,
you got to write what you believe in. So
I've got multiple ideas. I've got a thing about vampires rattling around in my head, so I might work on that.
Is that like the setting that you and I threw ideas around about, or is that a different vampire thing? I know you like vampires. I mean, your character is sort of a vampire.
Yeah, I do enjoy vampires quite a bit, but no, it's the setting that you and I were kind of bandying about for a bit.
Excellent.
I had stepped away from fiddling with it for a while, but I think I might delve back into it.
Excellent. Yeah, this kind of like city on the border between worlds and fae and demons and vampires and all kinds of neat stuff. So one day, several years from now, check it out. I'm sure that book will be on the shelves. So, but you wrote this dinosaur story. Now, what was your dinosaur story about again? You told me once.
So it's called Droma Station. It's about the crew, the very like it's 2-person crew of a less than legal transport ship that catches a distress signal that leads them to a military space station, which they find overrun with cloned cyborg dinosaurs. And I kind of styled it as Jurassic Park meets Alien.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking while you were describing it.
But like with a good dash of humor. Like I poke some fun. Specifically, I poke a couple of bits of fun at Jurassic Park, but like the velociraptors being way too big to actually be velociraptors is one of the things I poke fun at.
Yeah, because velociraptors were tiny little.
Well, they're like the size of like maybe a small dog, maybe a cat. They're not very big.
A chicken.
Or maybe a chicken.
I have chickens, and they are little murder machines. So.
Yeah. Well, like there's that whole exchange where one of the characters says, "Why are the velociraptors firing lasers at us? Who gave the velociraptors lasers?" And the scientist is like, "But they're Utah raptors. Velociraptors are." She cuts him off and basically just goes, "Is that really the important thing right now? You're getting fired at by laser dinosaurs."
Well, that is the important thing for paleontologists.
This is true. Really. This is true. But it's some adventure, some surprises, and a good dash of humor. I really enjoyed writing it. And I'm actually working on a new story featuring the same pair of characters from that will appear in an upcoming work to be announced.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. I'm glad that's working out. So, how much more time do we have? Are we? No, I'm getting the.
However much you want.
I wanted to point out my shirt since I wear a different like geek shirt every time. It's the Phoenix Recycle.
I like that.
This is one of my favorites. Yeah, well, I think we're probably good to go again. Steven hasn't come back, but that's Scourge for you.
Scourge gonna Scourge.
Okay, just gonna go back.
Yeah, all right.
Ooh, again.
Magic has happened. And we're back for part 2 of the game. So I'm going to say that since Steven's not here just yet, I'll go ahead and go with Artemisia and Stong. So I'm going to guess that you're investigating this building. It is drawing on toward midnight. And so it's about the time for the revel here. There's Steven. Welcome back. You just appeared out of the darkness.
I've just been listening off screen.
I see. Do Scourge and Shae also want to go toward the revel since it's almost midnight? Okay. So I'm just going to grab your
names. And the sound of a loud argument, right?
Right. There's definitely the sound of an argument of some kind.
Does it sound like an argument between 2 people or multiple?
Well,
more than 2.
When you arrive at this building, there's a small staircase that leads up to a higher, larger building, which appears to be a communal room for group activities. There's a set of double doors leading into this room with various mats on the floor. It looks like they tried to make something like a great hall, but the facilities don't really accommodate it. So instead, what they have is just kind of a big space with most of the furniture pushed off to the sides. Oh, I had just selected everything. Let me do that again.
By the way, cool map.
Set it to token layer. Thank you. I
People.
had fun putting it together. Yeah, there are a lot of people, some of whom are vaguely familiar to you. Da, da, da.
So it's-
Specifically, this woman here. That is the is Peffrey, the noble woman who you met, who danced a lot at the Purple Lady and caught the attention of that very business-minded elf woman.
Oh.
I don't really remember that woman's name, unfortunately. Does anyone remember it? I don't have it noted down either. Anyway, she's not here. That woman is not here. You see other noble people. You see priests of the at the onsen who are attending to them. The argument appears to be between this fellow and this fellow.
I don't see the. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the cursor click isn't showing.
Cursor click's not showing.
Nope.
You're on the wrong layer. That means
I'm
layer.
on- oh yeah, okay, that's what that is. All right, it's between this guy and this guy.
There we go. Yep.
And they are arguing in the middle of the room and close to drawing swords on each other, you think. Meanwhile, Peffrey is standing there and she's just dancing to the gentle music. Wafting
Didn't
about.
somebody call her a cultist?
Yeah, it is true. Someone did call her that. I don't recall if it was Shae herself who called her that, but someone called her that. Okay. I didn't want to put anyone in the actual chamber, but you're next to the doors. So there's one door right here and a set of double doors right down here. This young man, who is a dashing rogue of a fellow, he is insulting the other man's honor, like he's goading him into an argument. And this man, who is a large, muscular, slightly older, but not significantly older. He looks like he's maybe in his mid-20s. The other guy looked like maybe 20, maybe 19 or so. Both humans, both of them Chondathans. That one is trying to maintain his composure, but his cheeks are getting a little more flushed the more the other guy talks. And the room is just full of these noble folk, all dressed in very nice attire. This one over here, he's a middle-aged man who's just sitting in a chair. And one of the priestesses is next to him, and he's just rambling on, telling her a story. This man over here is going like this, like he's embarrassed about what's going on. This woman here has she has small horns and kind of grayish skin, and you realize that she is maybe a tiefling, you think. This woman here is kind of a mousy blonde human woman. She is actually holding a bunch of books, which is what her mini is. And then everyone else is just various noble people. Okay, so first of all, do you want to intervene in this confrontation, or
Did we
watch
get
it
any
play
sense
out,
of what
or
they were actually saying to each other? But as we're walking up and in, like, did we catch any words? And then also, can we tell, like, if they're wearing any of the emblems of the houses?
Yes. Stong, if you're going to look for that specifically, make a perception check.
Okay.
Basically, the younger man is claiming that other guy is a coward and a hypocrite, and he doesn't believe in anything that he claims, and he is just Uh,
my God. I made 2 rolls today and they've both been 1s. Yes.
yeah,
Oh no.
Stone, you have no idea. You're pretty sure that's pet free,
Help me.
but you don't really remember her name. Maybe her name is Petri.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Pervy.
Oh.
You're pretty sure you shouldn't call her Pervy unless that's actually her name. So
Unless
Hey,
you really
girl. I think I met your sister. Oh,
Hey
man.
girl, you pervy.
Oh man. My
Artemisia,
terrible perception.
try to match sigils.
yes, go ahead
Okay.
and make your own perception check.
That's a 13.
So you definitely recognize Peffrey. She's wearing the House Malavan colors, and she's not wearing a sigil, but you know who she is.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that this guy is he's a noble heir of one of the houses. You're pretty sure he's not Vamos, and you're pretty sure he's not Bleth, because you know all the heirs from those houses.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be wearing a sigil of any particular house, though. This woman is wearing she's wearing a necklace with the symbol of House Sem on it, SSEMM. This man over here is wearing a ring which has the symbol of House Goldar on it. And those are the only ones you notice.
Okay. So they don't quite match up enough to,
Right. It doesn't
So-
explain all of them.
yeah.
Can
Well, I
get-
mean,
can get it
Artemisia is
to
inclined
show
to intervene in the argument, but I don't want to step on anything anybody else was doing.
I mean, I was thinking of intervening, so we can intervene. I
Well-
think.
If she sees Shae coming over, she's gonna sort of like head tilt and see if Shae will go to the slightly older guy who's getting insulted. And
I think we can do that. Yeah.
Artemisia's gonna go to the guy doing the insulting.
Uh-huh. Artemisia, how subtle are you going to be? Or are you going to sweep into the room and grab everyone's attention with your massive charisma? That's what I'm asking. Where on that
I mean-
scale of like, I'm going to just go in and intervene quietly versus I'm here, are you?
Pay attention to me now.
I don't think that she would think to sweep in, but I think as she approaches, she's gonna sort of stand up a little straighter and sort of put on public face. And as she like narrows in on the guy doing the insulting, she's definitely sort of gonna do the full like charisma wattage.
All right. Make a charisma check, please.
She has good modifiers on that, and that's 20, so that's a 31.
Nice.
Wow.
His knees go
Just
weak.
1s and 20s tonight.
You got a 31.
Well,
She
because
said?
the ring gives the charisma. I mean, unless you want to have me do performance or something, which that's not as.
I don't think it's possible to get a 31.
Well,
It's
so-
asking you to make a charisma check, right?
Check. Yeah. Oh,
Charisma-
so it saves. Okay. So then
Okay.
that would.
Huh. All right.
Sorry.
No worries. It's fine. You probably still got really high, right?
Yes.
I mean, she
So
rolled a
that would
20,
be-
so yeah.
Okay. So
That
that's
would be a-
25.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you sweep in through the doors, and every eye in the place turns to you. And the argument immediately falls silent. As everyone looks to you, the only person not looking at you is Peffrey, who's still going. And then she realizes that no one else is dancing, and then she goes, "What?
Behind
Oh,
Artemisia,
Artemisia!"
behind Artemisia, Stun goes, Pegasus.
Are you gonna summon a Pegasus?
Ah, it's too late. But he was just standing
it's
in it.
never too late to summon a Pegasus.
I mean,
Yeah.
Put it in the
you're
middle
saying
of the
don't,
room.
don't let our good roll like.
Okay,
I mean,
Just to make her
Peffrey,
cooler, that's all.
Peffrey comes over to you. Let me see if I have a Pegasus. Probably.
You just use one of those horses.
I could, but I want to see if I have an actual Pegasus.
Basically, I just want the Pegasus to be behind you, Artemisia, and to like spread its wings so that when the sunlight hits you as you're entering, like you've got the silhouette of those wings, you know, right behind your back.
I
yeah,
want
she
the
can't
mini to
have
be like
actual wings like Cecilia yet. I think in her heart she kind of wants them.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
I hope the mini is the biggest, most obtrusive, just Pegasus possible. Just
All right. Well, I don't really have a Pegasus, but I do have a dragon.
Okay. Wow. Look at that effect.
Okay. Yes, everyone looks at you, and then you break up the argument just by walking into the room, and then a couple of people go off to murmur to each other, and this man stalks away to talk to that man in the corner. Peffrey says, "Oh, I'm so glad you made it. I was worried that you burned down with everyone else in the tower. Oh, what a nice winged horse. Is
Yeah.
that yours?"
It sure is. And then Stong goes, shoo, shoo. You've done your job.
The Pegasus goes, then just disappears. Almost knocked off my headphones. That was great. Anyway. I like how you just
Artemisia was
burned
not
that spell
prepared.
just for that.
Yeah.
Artemisia was not expecting this. So
Peffrey
I
says,
guess
Did you want to dance? Come dance with me.
sure. So Artemisia is gonna stride sort of into the center of the room and just like be visible and sort of figure that Shae and Scourge are gonna go about their work at the edges.
All right, Peffrey starts dancing.
So, which of the nobles is the hottest?
Okay. Let's see. So I think this one here has a certain roguish charm to him. This is pretty high charisma. These two over here are both very handsome in different ways. Like, they're slightly older. Like, it's a more mature handsomeness. One of them is very Chundathan, you know, kind of like the native Western sort of look. And then one of them is a Shao man. He's the one sitting in the corner. And they're talking to each other. And the Shao man is like, I can't believe you do this every time. And the man says, what are you talking about? I just did it this one time. And I did nothing. I just stood there while he shouted at me. And he says, well, and they keep having their little discussion. This older man is just aggressively average looking and probably like early 50s. And the other nobles are kind of forgettable. If you're talking about the women, Peffrey has this kind of like 80s hair ballad thing going on. And this woman here is darkly attractive in a sort of like touched by a demon way, because, you know, she's a tiefling. So
So are we Scourge is going to cast See Invisible and
Okay.
on himself, and then stroll in. Not particularly. He's
Raiders just showed up. Welcome, Raiders.
Hey,
I'm gonna
welcome,
give,
Raiders.
Scourge advantage.
Hey,
on
Raiders.
Skill check in honor of Raiders showing up.
Oh yeah, Raiders! Thank you. So, and he's just going to do a perception with advantage, I guess.
Okay.
Just to kind of see who's, well, and he's using his see invisibility. So that's not so the best. But 16. Is there anyone who's invisible in here and thinks they're not?
You don't see anyone who seems to be invisible.
Okay.
Well, Stong has true sight on, so he might also see that.
So he's just gonna sit his one butt cheek on the armrest of this couch, and observe the room.
Okay, there's a noble woman sitting there,
Mhm,
fanning herself.
mhm.
She looks at you.
Sturge is gonna give her like a Cheshire cat grin, and then
And she goes back to fanning herself slightly faster.
and then go back to perceiving the room.
Okay. All right. Shae, you gonna do something?
Yeah.
I did hear you about the true sight thing, Song. You don't see anybody that seems to be invisible.
I will go ahead and enter the room myself, since the argument seems to have died down on its own just by Artemisia's mere presence. I will head in and I will keep an eye open for anybody that seems to be behaving oddly, because I know Shae might know some of Fayne's tells by now.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, you see a bunch of people. They're all going about their different intrigues and arguments and stuff about the room. Would you like to make a perception check, please?
I would. Let me see here. This is 19, not shabby.
Okay. Let's see. So, this sort of mousy, blonde woman immediately avoids your gaze. Like, she looks away and heads over toward this window in the north end.
Right past Sturge. Does Sturge notice this?
Yeah, you did see her walk past.
And Sturge, being an actor who has studied Fayne in the past so he could imitate her, does he see the way she walks?
It's
And
actor versus actor. Make an insight check. Or, no, more accurately, make an investigation check.
okay.
Nice.
It seems a little suspicious, but you're going to have to interact with her for if you want to try and figure anything more out.
Okay. First, I'm just going to watch her as if
Okay.
I haven't noticed her. And I'm going
I'll go back to Shae then.
okay.
So Shae, you got a 19 on your perception check, you said.
Yes, I did.
So this woman, the tiefling woman, is very quietly and sharply talking to the rakish man there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe berating him. It's hard to say exactly what she's saying since she's just kind of whispering very quickly, but from the tone and her body language, that's what you pick up on. This noble woman sees that you came to stand next to her and goes, ugh, and retires. She almost faints onto the couch.
Whoa.
Right.
Rude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, you do have deep gray skin, red eyes, and white silver hair, so you're kind of scary looking for most people.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
These two gentlemen in the corner here are having the conversation. You notice the same amount that Artemisia did.
Okay.
And, that's it. You don't see anything that obviously screams Fayne to you.
Okay. Huh.
So doors. There's one door on the east side, one door on double doors on the south side, and that's it, right?
There's a door here and a door, double doors here. Those
Right.
are
Okay, good.
entrance and exits. You can
So
see.
if Fayne wants to escape, she's going to have to walk past Scourge.
You do notice that the this is the kitchen back here, or a kitchen anyway,
Mhm.
and there is a half-orc cook who is preparing food and drink back there,
Mhm.
along with a Shae attendant.
Mhm.
Oh my god, I need to go back there and compliment him. His food is the best.
I thought you
Top.
might do that. Okay. All right. So, Steven, sorry, I think I cut you off a little bit there. What were you
No,
saying?
I just want to know where the exits are
Yeah,
because
just those two.
yeah, okay. So he's just watching the book lady, who he saw, look away from Fayne and then
From
scoot-
Shae. Yeah.
Yeah, and scoot north. So
Maybe Shae is Fayne.
eh,
All right.
Wait,
All right.
Didn't we go over this at the beginning of the stream?
Yep. We've done this
You
one.
did.
I think we did, yeah. But she was out of your view for like 2 minutes.
oh, it would be so fun to cast Dispel Magic on her.
The sad thing is, I have a spell that actually can make a shape changer revert to their natural form, but it causes damage,
Oh,
and I don't want to do it on a random person.
Hmm.
I'm not going
Yeah,
to do
don't do that.
At this point, our best, it's best that we keep the element of surprise, like we pretend we don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
If we don't know.
We
True.
don't know for sure, but I'm going to assume because the worst thing that can happen is, I trip an innocent woman when she walks by with her hands full of books. That's okay.
Are you just going to trip her?
No.
Oh.
Who said that? No one said that.
Okay. So this slightly older man down in the corner, he bangs his cane on the floor. You get the sense that his cane is mostly for decoration rather than for actual walking because it has a big uncomfortable gemstone on the top of it. And he says, "Can we return to the topic at hand, or do you require more dancing and revelry, or whatever you younglings do with your time these days?"
Is this not a revel?
What topic?
This is Lady Tyrone, how wonderful of you to grace us with your presence. We were discussing what to be done about Westgate, of course. He blows in his mustache, kind of
A walrus.
exactly a
Oh,
walrus mustache.
Don's just gonna sink into a seat and hide his face a little bit and just listen in.
This guy, handsome rake dude, turns around at the mention of your name and says, Artemisia Tyrone, you survived the heinous assassination attempt on the Merchant Council.
Oh god.
He comes over
Face
and
more.
takes your hand, bows graciously and dexterously. Says, "I am Thaddeus, Lord Thorsar. So good to meet you finally. My parents praised you and said you were very kind and most lovely, and I see that their words did nothing to do you justice."
So does that match up with her memory of his parents?
You remember Lord and Lady Thorsar. Let me see. Let me get their names specifically for you.
Because I think I remember them from the council meeting. But
Yeah. Lord Dench Thorsar, who's a really big, hardy fellow, and his much smaller wife, Lady Nell, who were both, they struck you as fairly good, nice people. You had met them a few times before, like you'd seen them on business, but like the Merchant Council meeting was your first time actively, like officially meeting them, right? And spending any time talking with them. And anyway, this fellow appears to be exaggerating slightly, but maybe he's doing that to be polite, or maybe he thinks you are also hot. Anyway, the tiefling woman steps up beside him and goes, and Thaddeus says, "Ah, yes. Let me present to you my betrothed, Ayn Sem, the heiress of House Sem." And Ayn says, "Betrothed? I'm quite certain we are married, Thaddeus." And he says, "Well, technically."
So Artemisia is going to
Technically.
do this thing where she was like starting to smile at him when he took her hand, and she's just going to take that hand right away.
Now you see, unfortunately, marriages in Westgate are a subject of some political wrangling. And before negotiations could be concluded, our parents were tragically murdered in an assassination attempt. And so we had run away from Westgate in order to be married here at the Mantle, and then we received the tragic news. And well, we still haven't fully decided how to proceed. And Ayn says, "I'm pretty sure we have, actually." And he says, "That's not what you were saying just a few moments ago." And Ayn looks over at Artemisia, and then she says, "I think I've decided." And he says, "Will you excuse me, Lady Tara? I must discuss." And she
Certainly.
hauls him away.
I understand.
Jeffrey says, "What was that about?"
Don't worry. You just dance.
Okay.
Is there even any music?
There is, in fact, there are Shao bards playing on these long
Okay.
guitar-like instruments that
Ooh.
I'm not sure Shae is familiar with. Well, I mean, you have lived in Westgate for a long time.
Yeah.
Is Stong familiar with them?
Yes. Hold on one second. Go ahead and make me a knowledge history check, Stong.
Another roll. Oh boy. Time to redeem myself. This can't possibly be another one. Ooh. 22 total.
All right. That is an instrument that you have heard of but never actually seen, called a shamisen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They're mostly played in Karatur and the lands to the east. You have heard that in the east and in Westgate, there are great shamisen artists, and you had always been meaning to go out and listen to one, but then Cecilia would book you for a gig, and you would go and play. So
I think Stong will just make a note
specifically.
to go check them out later.
Specifically, this priestess here is playing a shamisen. And so it's a sweet, plinking and melodious music that's filling the room. Okay.
Well, I mean, Artemisia is she's going next to the guys over here.
Okay.
And she is gonna snub the woman who reacted to Shae like that.
Okay.
She's gonna like pretend like she doesn't even exist and like greet the two men.
All right. Make an intimidation check,
Ooh, okay.
which is to say a charisma check, unless you're trained in intimidation.
No.
All right.
There's my one.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm
no.
gonna use my inspiration for that. So that's a 6.
All right. She glares right back at you. Doesn't seem to be intimidated.
Dang.
Okay, yeah, you come over to these nobles, and the one right next to you turns to you It says, Lady Tyrone, was it? He bows in a way that you would expect of a Shao courtier, but he's Chandathan, so.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I am Kaldor Evergard, and this is my husband, Shmi. And the other man goes, yes, hello. And he nods.
Do you two have any thoughts on the question of what to do to rebuild Westgate?
Well, we do, in fact. Make a persuasion check to determine how forthright they are with you.
15.
Man, I'm getting a lot of glare. It's making me like extra white right now. I apologize for that, everybody. Sorry, it's also the game. Anyway, and Kaldor and Shmi start talking to you in a kind of excited way about their conception of a united Westgate, where Chandathan folk and Damaran folk and Shao folk live together in peace and harmony, and their cultures intermingle in such a way that would lead to no more tensions among the various peoples of the city. And they see this as an opportunity to rebuild Westgate with that in that image. But as you might imagine, such a utopian ideal is not shared among the older members of the Merchant Council, says Shmi. And Kaldor says, fortunately, they all burned to death. And Shmi says, that's a terrible thing to say. And he says, yes, well, they were terrible folks.
Is Don close enough to hear this? You should hear this.
Yeah, he's hiding his face, but he like nods when he says that.
Anyway, Kaldor says, perhaps you are sharing a room with the new nobility of Westgate, the people who will be powerful going forward. We tried to convince them of our vision, and that damnable Thorsar, he just got under my skin. And I apologize for that, Kaldor says. And Shmi says, well, you're forgiven again.
So Thorsar is against your vision of the future for the city?
Kaldor furrows his brow and he says, well, Thorsar seems to be, he's one of those types who likes to irritate folk. And Shmi says, yes, he gets under people's skin very, very easily. He's a bravo, a duelist. And Kaldor says, yes. I'd like to take him outside and pound him into the dirt. And Shmi says, no. I think he's handsome too. And Kaldor blushes a little bit.
Scourge is going to step outside and roll himself a little pipe weed into a little cigarette that he puts on the end of a long stem. And he's going to sit. Yes, there we are. Right outside the door, and he just believes that Fayne will come to him. So he's just going to sit and smoke and listen through the open window. I can't seem to move him right now. I know why. Never mind. So he's going to sit underneath an open window and listen to things. And if he's needed, he'll go in there. But otherwise, he has this instinct that she'll make herself visible when she wants to. Or she'll try to come up like she has successfully several times, pretending she's someone else, and try to get Scourge to do something that he wouldn't otherwise do. But he's ready this time.
All right. So there are a couple of servants going about their business. Usually they seem to be like running a net through the pool, just fishing out like debris, branches, leaves, things like that. That's what this one here is doing.
Mm-hmm.
This one is carrying something. He comes walking along the walkway and he gets up to you. And then he pauses because you're right there.
Really? You can't go around. You can see I'm enjoying myself.
Of course, sir, of course. And he kind of like shimmies past you. My apologies, sir. And then
No need to
continues on his way.
apologize. I just don't wish to move.
You made that quite apparent. No. All right. And
Does Stong know Fayne well enough to send her?
yes. Like you have
Ooh.
met her and you can visualize her.
Okay. Then I guess Stong would like to, as he's like sitting in the chair hiding his face, he's gonna like just send to Fayne. And he's going to say, "Hey Fayne, we're also here at this noble hot spring retreat. We'd really like to talk to you. We come in peace. Please find Scourge."
Oh.
You get the reply, yes, I can see that. I'm busy. Maybe I'll find Scourge later. For now, please go away. You're messing up my gig.
Oh.
Stay in her head, man. Stay in her
You
head.
look sad. All right. Those are the last 3 words.
He realizes that she can see him. And he like looks up and he picks up from his arms.
Yeah.
Messing up my gig. I think she's the tiefling, this woman.
Okay,
Could be.
Scourge, you receive a message.
Okay.
Like from the message cantrip.
Oh, yes, yes.
It says, "What are you doing here, Scourge?" It's obviously Fayne's voice.
Fayne. Well, remember that time when
Why'd you bring Shae with you?
Maybe. I mean, it's not an accident, but with her.
You know she has a terrible crush on me. It's very irritating.
Who doesn't, Fayne?
Well, you don't, and that's also irritating.
I think you simply don't know me well enough.
Oh, I think I do. I don't know why you're here, though.
Well, I was about to tell you. I will tell you now. Remember that time I was sitting in Mirren's bedroom on my ass, having just smashed my magical cursed sword into the magical cursed chalice, and it
Yeah, I remember good times.
Yes, and remember how Mirren said, give me the chalice, I'll keep it safe. And she picked it up, but it wasn't Mirren. Do you remember that? It was you. Oh my God, that was like the best. I gotta give it to you. And then you went away. And that chalice, it turns out, the Night King really wants it, and we really gotta make sure he doesn't get it. And I don't have any idea what you did with it. And yet I think you probably are smart enough to know not to give it to him. On the other hand, you might be working with him, so you know we need to talk.
That's a lot for the message cantrip to convey. So you cast the message like several times. Like you're sitting there, you puff on the long cigarette, and then you're like, cantrip.
There's probably a word lost every now and then.
Cantrip. You finally get a response that says, "And here I thought you were here to give me notes on my acting."
Your acting is superb. I haven't any idea who you are unless you're that one tiefling.
Oh, that's good. It means the ring is working.
We have a ring. That's new. Not a bauble, not a ball. It's a ring now?
It is.
Wow. I can't wait to see it.
Would you like to guess where I'm wearing it?
Hmm. Left.
I
Second,
can't see if you're blushing.
Left foot, second toe.
Close. Anyway, I need to do some business, and then we'll talk later. How's that?
That sounds lovely. I can't wait to see you.
Oh, this thing about the Night King wanting this item,
Hmm.
how urgent is that exactly?
Well,
Like, might he have sent assassins to find it?
oh yes, he might well have. Why do you ask?
Oh. And it is at that point that the lanterns around the onsen just suddenly wink out.
Of
And
course.
you are plunged into darkness.
Fayne, did you turn the lights out? That wasn't necessary.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Yeah. Stong still has
Darkness.
true sight, so he can
Yeah,
see
so
through.
Song can still see.
Is there
I
starlight?
have dark
or
vision, so
Starlight or moonlight?
Oh,
Darkness.
What?
And on that note, that's all the time we have for tonight.
Ding!
Ta-da.
Good cliffhanger.
It is a
the
big cliffhanger.
assassins.
So we're gonna start off next week with who turned out the lights. That should be the name of the episode. Thank you to our slightly smaller crew of Westgate Irregulars, Dungeon Scrawlers, and thank you to our audience. A lot of you came over from Idle Champions and then stuck around, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. We're gonna raid another channel in just a few minutes, but first, I have been Erik Scott to be exceptionally tall fiction writer and game designer, the DM of this campaign. Check me out, ericscottdb.com. I just had a book come out. It's called Scourge of the Broken World, book 4 of my World of Ruin series. It's the final one, so if you start with book 1, this is a great time to do it. I think it's on sale on Amazon for like $6. Anyway, you should definitely buy it. I'm not biased or anything. Anyway, this has been Alexander Petchford, our stalwart mod supporter and guest player. Tell us about something, Allie.
thank you. Well, yeah, as you said, I'm Alexander Pitchford. I'm a writer, game designer, and I have my own story that's been published in the Apex World of Dinosaurs anthology that is now available on Amazon. Kindle edition, I believe, is about $7. So I say go check it out. It's a pretty good story, and everything in that anthology is a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Usually this would be Aaron, but now it is me. So I've been Rhiannon Held, and thanks to our sponsors, Idle Champions, thanks to our moderators, usually Shae, but tonight Seldrain and I believe Myrdog was there earlier. And I write urban fantasy, silver series, and space opera, Amsterdam Institute series, and you can find out about all our different books on our website, dungeonscholars.com, and also there should be an Amazon widget on our Twitch page if you want to check out any of those. So take a look.
Hi, I'm Yang Wang. This week, the charity that we would like to highlight is the National Center for Transgender Equality. So their vision is that they want to help create a society in which transgender people not only survive, but thrive, with accepting families and communities, full self-determination over their identities and bodies, and freedom from disrespect, discrimination, and violence. For this vision to become a reality, they have to also help create equality, equal opportunity, safety, health, and economic well-being for all people for their entire lifetimes. So, as you can maybe guess from that vision, not only are they involved in transgender rights and legal services, but also racial and economic justice. So check them out at the link in chat, and if you possibly can, consider supporting their mission.
Right on. I'm Stephen Merlino, also a fantasy writer. You can find my stuff on Amazon. You can also find our past videos on our YouTube channel, linked on our Twitch page below. And be sure to click the subscribe button to support us and the bell to get notified as we add new content. That's it.
The adventure continues over at our website, dungeonscrawlers.com, where you can check out fiction from various of us about various topics, many of them Forgotten Realms inspired, one of them Gelatinous Cube inspired. And next week, we'll be back with a few more players, and we'll see how things go. Until then, stay scrawly.